Want to welcome everybody that is joining us online. Thank you for being with us. Leave comments on the video on YouTube or on Facebook if you're seeing it on there, and we'll get back with you and let you know anything. We haven't had too many comments, but just if you have a question or anything, we'll try to answer it. All right? So thank you all for being here today. Christy, have you got some stuff settled, ready for us?
I do. Everybody open your books up to the Rejoice book. And we're going to be singing page 411. Oh, how I love Jesus. Isn't it good to be in the house of the Lord? Okay, and all 4 verses. At page 230, you'll find Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace.
How about let's do all 5 verses, worship and audience. Amazing grace, how sweet Okay. Now we're going to sing a song called All My Hope. This is a few years old, but has a lot of good meaning behind it. I've been held by the Savior.
I felt fire from above. I've been down to the river. I ain't the same. Prodigal return. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. I've been washed by the blood. I'm no stranger to the prison. I've worn shackles and chains. I've been freed and forgiven. And I'm not going back. I'll never be the same. That's why I sing. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. I've been washed by the blood. There's a kind of thing that just breaks a man. Break him down to his knees. God, I've been broken more than a time or two, yeah, Lord. Then He picked me up and showed me what it means to be a man. Come on and sing. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. And I've been washed by the blood. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. I've been washed by the blood. Amen. All right, Landon, come on up here. Make sure and turn your mic on. Here, let me do that. All right, we're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Today is all about temptation. And I'm telling you, the devil's after us. Whatever it takes to get the church apart, or, you know, I've been seeing a lot of churches break up. Been hearing about pastors doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. But hang on just a second here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, but I'm going to end up having Jack and Lizzie come up here. But we're going to have a little deal here where you're going to get to see a little bit of what can happen here. And Jack perhaps may know a few live stories of some people that has had some things happen to them that's been very bad. But this is Ziploc bags full of grass. Just going to let you guys know, but it's going to represent drugs. This here, on the other hand, is water ball, but it's going to represent alcohol. And yes, guess what? I'm going to play the devil for it, or drug dealer, or whatever you want to call me. This is temptation. Lizzie, come on, take this.
No.
Take this. Come on, come on. It'll make you feel good. I've got some real good stuff here. Some real good stuff. And you just walk away because you don't want to take it. Because you're trying to stand up for the Lord. That's the point here. Because if you don't, the church will fall. We are the church. Come on, Jack, take it. Better take it. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. 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 You're gonna have fun. You're gonna get a good high off of that. Oh yeah. No. Oh yes. It'll get you in a lot of trouble. Alcohol's caused many accidents, and of course now they'll even get you for drugs too. They'll get you for intoxication on that. It'll mess your life up. Go ahead. Thank you for taking it on off the stage. But I appreciate Jack and Lizzie participating in that. Our young people are being real pressured and maybe I just hung out with the wrong crowd. I didn't really get pressured on that. I hung out with a bunch of Christians, but I guess you could say the right crowd on my behalf. I don't know exactly who my sister all hung out with, Christy, but I think she hung out with some pretty good friends too. But I think a lot of us were churchgoers. But even those are the ones that Satan wants the most. He wants to drag them down. And you know, the point of this is I'm not going to name churches. I'm not going to name names or preachers or nothing like that. I'm going to tell you, and Ashley kind of got on me for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's some preachers even getting in trouble for porn. I'm going to be flat out. Yes, it's sex. They're getting in trouble for that. Messing with all sorts of things they shouldn't be messing with. You know, there's all sorts of trouble. This leads you to a road down nowhere. Yes, the Lord will forgive you, but you're better to make that choice and not go down there that road and do that. I've known some people that's paralyzed now because of stuff like it. It can just be a bad thing, very bad thing. And yes, some people may look at me, well, I'm perfect. I ain't had nothing happen to me. You know what? Yes, I have. I've had stuff happen to me. I'm not perfect. You know, but you know what? For those that have, people that have dealt with drugs, people that have dealt with alcohol, those people out there can be a good witness to those that are trying to get out of that road, like the reckless saints from nowhere. I have a friend, and I believe he must have accepted Jesus into his heart because of him and his wife. I've been seeing videos of him especially baptizing people lately. When you do that, that is so awesome. Getting someone baptized. Because that means they've accepted the Lord into their life. We're going to be tempted even after. You're not. The temptation is not going to stop. And yes, he's after our churches. He's after our churches worse. The devil is after us more than he was back then. He knows his time is running short. He knows Jesus is about to split them clouds and come back. And let me tell you something. If you're out there and you don't know him, my advice to you, get to know him today. Because today could be the day you take your last breath. Go down the road. You think, well, this alcohol's okay. Yeah, it's fun at that moment. But the complications that can come in there is very, very bad. And yes, a lot of people's like, well, you're just preaching on alcohol and you're preaching on drugs. I'm just telling you, all of it can lead down the wrong road. And that's not just drugs and alcohol. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about here what I was going to talk about with Jesus being tempted. And this is chapter 4 out of Matthew. It's going to run through 1 through 11. I'm telling you, for these young people, this is serious business. And for even the older crowd. Because like I said, it's splitting up churches. There's churches closing because of stuff like this that happens. Preachers get tempted with pornography, alcohol, you name it. It'll ruin your life. It'll ruin your church. It'll cause the church to split. And of course, there's all sorts of things that the devil will use to split churches, such as Ashley's talked about. They were trying to get a youth group or something together. I can't remember what caused the split, but a split happened over there at Hillcrest one time. Yes, I'm going to mention Hillcrest's name. And, you guys have seen splits all through your life. That's the devil. He's working through it. And then you come to a disagreement on the Bible. That's another split. And then I'm hearing about more churches that are forming because people ain't agreeing to disagree or whatever. This stuff's happening, people. He is using all types of artillery. I'm talking, when we look at artillery, we're thinking maybe bullets. We're thinking grenades. We're thinking maybe, I don't know, big old bombs and sorts of things. The devil, his artillery is different. His weapons are completely different of that. But they can work the same way, completely blow everything off the map. That's what the devil wants. He wants to take you to hell. He don't want you going to heaven. That's all there is to it. But anyway, I'll start out with verse 1. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command these stones be made into bread. I just had a little story come up in my head, and I'm going to try to be brief and short on that as possible and get too far back up here on this. But there was a man named Tony Mack, I think if his name is right. Tony Mack, I think. He had done some things, some very bad things. And he got into prison. And eventually the Lord worked out a miracle and just the right man come along. And he said he was in there with murderers, you name it, alcohol people, people done drugs. And he said he was so bad they even put him on death row, although he was not on death row. Kind of hard for me to explain that. But he said that man come in there and they told him about Jesus. And he said, you know what, he says, Jesus don't want me. And that's usually the same thing you hear out of a lot of people. Jesus don't want me. Jesus don't want to save me. I'm not good enough for Jesus to save. And, he have explained to him how he loved him and everything and how he died on the cross for him. He gave his heart to God while he was in there. God used that. He was in there and he had prisoners giving their heart to God. And that just reminds me of Paul and Silas right there. God used Paul and Silas. Paul and Silas had them chains break off of them. They'd got in there for nothing they really did really wrong. They were just preaching the gospel. But Paul and Silas, their chains got shook loose because the earthquake had happened. And, they're still there. The Lord used it. And whenever that had happened, course, Paul and Silas and them were still in there, and the prisoner, the guard come up and he's like, he's about to take his life, and Paul and Silas seen him and said, "Don't take your life. We're all still here." He said, "We ain't left." The Lord used that because they could have ran, but they didn't. The Lord used that. Because of that, that guard got right with God that very day. God will use anybody. And, just like Tony Mack I'm talking about, he got right with God, and I'd love for that man to come here and give a good testimony. But anyway, this is 4. But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and seeth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down. For it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Jesus said unto him, For it is written again, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. And again the devil taketh him up unto the existing high mountain, and sheweth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, All these things will give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, the angels came and ministered unto him. That's what we need to be. We need to turn Satan down no matter what he tries to tempt us. Even if it's a bad word or whatever, we need to be careful what we say around people. We can offend too. You can offend your brother and sister just as easy. And that is the devil working through you, trying to... The devil, I was thinking of this the other day, the devil kind of reminds me of a rebellious teenager. And I guess I kind of hit that with my mom and dad. My mom and dad probably thought, I was just one troubled teenager. I was always getting into trouble. But Mom always seen a difference in me when I repented and asked the Lord into my life. Mom seen that difference in me. But Satan, he's using everything he can to go against God. He's using everything he can. Just like, now they've got the pride thing going on. Well, you know what? He's going to use that. He's going to use anything that he can. That's why we need to pray and be strong in the Lord. And just stay in there. But here's a point. Here's my points with it. This is the point. Satan loves to tempt us all. And trust me, any weakness that you have, he's going to find and he's going to use it against you. And you have heard anything you say in a court of law will be used against you. But let me tell you something. You've got the best lawyer in the world. It's Christ. Because when you get up there, he is going to be your lawyer, your defense. He's going to take up for you. He's just going to say, I know this man, or I know this. This is in the Lamb's Book of Life. You don't want to get up there and them tell you your name's not in there. You want your name in there. It's just kind of like some of these fancy restaurants. I guess they take your name down and you make reservations. Well, if your name ain't there, you're not coming in. Well, that's the same way with heaven. If your name ain't there, you ain't going in. You don't want him to say, turn away from me, you worker iniquity, for I never knew you. You don't want him saying that either. This is serious, though, stuff here. And this is point number 2. Just as we are tempted, Jesus was tempted. He tempted Jesus. Why wouldn't he tempt us? I mean, Jesus was Lord. You wouldn't have never thought he'd mess with God. But God and Jesus is all the same. You would have never thought that he would have done that, but he did it. He don't care. He's just like a rebellious teenager. He's going to try to do it one way or another. He's going to go anything against his, the way I kind of say, we're all kind of, I guess, adopted in as God's children. Well, God made him, so I guess he was a part of it. But it just reminds me of a teenager that wants to do all this and do that, and anything he can to go against his, like a teenager's parents. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, point 3, we can all overcome temptation with the Word of God. Yes, we can. We can do that. We just gotta stay in His Word and pray and really listen to the Lord. And let me tell you something. You gotta be careful too. You'll think that may be coming from God. Maybe that's not. Think about it a little bit before you do that. Maybe that's not God talking to you. Maybe that's Satan. Satan can talk. Satan's got powers. He can. I'm not talking to you like. I'm not talking about like. I'm talking to you right now. That's the same with the Lord. The Lord, when He calls you to the altar, that's what I'm talking about. Of course, He'll tempt you in those ways. But bottom line is we can overcome any temptation Satan puts in our path with God's help. But I'm not going to get into the situation exactly, and I'm not going to tell what had happened. But I do know a person that said that God was okay with them being like the way they were. And I firmly believe God did not tell them that. That's what I'm saying. Be careful with what you think you're picking up, because that may not be God talking to you, especially if it don't sound right, especially if it don't go with the Scriptures. If it don't go with the Scriptures, what? God talks through us through the Bible a whole lot. And that's where you're going to hear Him mostly. So we just need to be real, real careful, because you go down the wrong road real quick. But anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to say this morning. We just need to be careful because we don't want to see more churches split up. Because I'm sure I'm hearing a whole lot of it. But I love the Lord this morning, and I'm thankful. And Christy, you want to come up and play a song?
Prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and